Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome back. It's time again for another edition of the Weekly Member Spotlight, coming to you live this Friday morning. I am excited to sit down with today's guest. I am totally biased, but she's one of my favorite people in the entire world. She happens to be my fellow Village Green associate, Miss Amanda Boston. And Amanda is an area director for Village Green. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Amanda came here on her own free will. I didn't volunteer her anything. She volunteered willingly to do this. Before we dive into Amanda's interview, though, and I do want to say I might go back and forth between calling you Amanda and Mandy. I don't know what feels normal yet. I call you
it's fine.
interchangeably. But before we dive into Amanda's interview, I wanted to make mention that next week is a very busy and very big week for the GCNKAA. Not only do we have our board meeting, I'm looking forward to seeing all of my fellow board members, but we have one of our association's biggest and most anticipated events. It's our annual State of the Industry event, and it is Dave Lockard and the CBR team sharing with us all of the trends in the industry. They're sharing a little bit about the activity from 2022 and most importantly, what to look forward to. So I know they have their job cut out for them this year because we are all very interested in what is going to happen. You know, Dave has a crystal ball and he pulls it out at the end of this event. So looking forward to that. I hope we see you there. The event's at the Oasis Center, so it's a large venue. If you have not already registered, please reach out today. I don't know how much availability exists, but we'd love to see you there. And again, look forward to learning about what's going on in our local industry and what is on the horizon. So without further ado, again, super excited to sit down with such a familiar face. And I know I introduced you, Amanda, but I'd love to ask you, just share a little bit about yourself and maybe just go ahead and answer the question of how did you get into this industry and how long have you been in the industry?
Okay, so I'm Amanda Boston. Thank you for the introduction. I have been with Village Green for almost 9 years now. So I started off in sales as a sales consultant at a property in Northern Kentucky. For those of you that know me, I think you guys have all probably heard me say, I feel like I was born into this industry. My mom worked in property management, and that's kind of how I got into the industry, just through one of her friends. They recommended me for a position at Village Green, and I've been here ever since.
Which, Mandy, it's always funny to hear you say you're going on a decade in this industry because you truly started, I think, with child labor laws maybe being enacted. You did grow up in this industry, and maybe share a little bit about the history of the sites that you've managed, because you've had such a great career path.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started off at Vineyard Apartments in Florence, and over the first couple of years of my career, I just went around to various properties in Florence. I went to Parkland Apartments, and then I spent quite a bit of time at Paddock Club Apartments. After Paddock Club, I went to Current at the Banks, where I spent almost 4 years, I think, of my career before I transitioned into my role in the regional office as an area director.
So that's been really exciting. And I know Mandy would never brag about herself, but as someone who's been so close to you, I can just share a little bit. Mandy went through some programs internally. We have a manager and training program and an executive manager training and program, both of which she excelled in, and then just came into the regional office in a portfolio level role a few months ago, and she's killing it as usual. And it's really interesting too, Mandy being at Current at the Banks, which is a high profile asset and very much the center of a lot of activity for our city. And so I think you probably enjoyed having your last year downtown being the year that it was for the Bengals, right?
Absolutely. Yes. It was so fun.
We talked in the regional office a little bit about that recently, and how cool it is that the city has been under the spotlight because of our team the last couple of years. And we look forward to that happening for many years to come, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, how did you talked about how you got into the industry? What is it that you love so much about being in the multifamily industry?
Yeah. So for me, it's number one, every day is different. I feel like we are dealing with the most intimate part of people's lives, and that's their homes. I love getting to know people and their stories. I feel like that's the number one thing for me, whether that be the residents, the prospects, the vendors, our associates, just getting to work with people. That's my favorite part.
Same. I love it so much. And there's nothing more important than where you live. So we have the very unique privilege of seeing people in such an intimate way in their lives. So I share that. What is a memorable story that comes to mind when you think back on your career?
Yeah, so I feel like being in this industry, I could write a book about all of the things that have happened, but the most memorable, the thing that sticks out the most to me is whenever I worked at Paddock Club, we had a resident have a baby in their apartment and they didn't know that they were pregnant. It was a very crazy situation. But I will never forget the EMTs carrying the baby down the stairs like it's a boy. So it was the craziest thing. It was like the most insane day of my property management career, but that is what sticks out the most to me.
I think we should have some kind of reality TV programming, something in this industry, because you simply cannot make it up.
You cannot.
As a matter of fact, our fearless leader jokes often, I'm going to make that chapter 92 of my book, the crap you can't make up about being in this industry. Well, what kind of advice, Mandy, would you offer up to people who are new in their journey in this industry?
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is being yourself and really letting people see who you are, being authentic with everyone, being empathetic to all of the stories that we hear and the different things that come up. Again, I know I talked about we're dealing with the most intimate part of people's lives, but it's their homes and it's our job to maintain and to make them comfortable. And the other thing that I would say is work hard. I feel like this industry has endless possibilities. I feel like I knew from the get-go kind of the trajectory that I wanted my career to take. And if you work hard and you put your mind to it, I feel like you can get to any level in this industry that you want.
Okay, so I have to ask you this. This is not a question I usually ask people, but it's interesting because you came through this into this industry so organically. If you were not in property management, what do you think you'd be doing?
Wow. That I don't know. I'm a very creative person, so a fun fact about me is that I sing and I write songs. So I feel like my dream growing up was always to be a songwriter or a singer. So maybe something like that. I'm not sure. I know that's completely opposite, but that's the only thing I can really think of. I really can't imagine doing anything else. I feel like I love real estate in general. So maybe something different in the real estate industry, but I like where I'm at.
Okay, do you and our friend Lauren ever like collaborate?
No, so we haven't, but we have talked about it because our families are friends.
Yes.
So we have talked about it, but we have never made it actually happen. So maybe
Well,
one day.
I feel like I'm missing out because I have never heard you sing. I knew that you sang, but I've never heard you sing. And so we're going to have to revive the BG Got Talent or have a karaoke night, something like that, because I desperately need to hear you sing. And I love to sing. And I miss like having the opportunity to do that. I don't think I've done karaoke in a little while.
Yes, sign me up. Let's go karaoke.
I know. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, wow. I feel like I have so many. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think
Or
about
one of.
Proud Mary. Proud Mary is a
Ooh,
solid one. I feel like
dang.
that's one that I always love to karaoke.
Okay, I feel like that needs to be an actual question on this questionnaire because everyone has a go-to karaoke song, even if you're not good at singing. Well, Mandy, is there anything about your experience in the industry, anything else that you would like to share?
I don't think I can think of anything specific.
Well, I would love to move into the personal questions. This is my favorite part of the interview, but I never want to cut off the talking of business. I know we could talk for days about all the fun things that we've done and seen and challenges in this industry, but I love to get to know everyone. To the thing that you said about connecting to people, the people in our industry all have a very common thread with their love of people. So I love getting to know people. And I'd like to just invite you first to start off. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, so my husband Luke and I, we have been together for almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years this year, married for 6 years in June. We have 2 kids. I have a almost 5-year-old, which is so crazy to even think about, and a 2-year-old, Blakely and Avery. Yeah, I feel like if you know me, basically my only hobby is being a mom and working, and I love them so much. I'm so obsessed with them and they take up every moment of my day that I'm not working. So
And your family is just absolutely beautiful on the outside and inside, but they are just so beautiful. I was thinking when I was preparing to dial in for this call, we used to do a written portion of this weekly member spotlight initiative, and I would have people send in pictures, and that was so fun because people love to share pictures of their family and their pets and vacations and things like that. And I'm like, we need to start that back up again, because for those people who are comfortable sharing, it's always nice to be able to see what human part of you is most important, right?
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys like to do as a family in your downtime? Any hobbies or family activities?
Yeah. So whenever it's warm enough, we spend as much time outside as we possibly can. Having littles, I just need them to get their energy out. So we're
Right.
outside walking or going on adventures, as they like to say. We love to travel. So we have a couple of different weekend trips, and we actually just booked a cruise for later this year. So we have a
Cool.
couple of vacations coming up this year. And other than that, every week we have a movie night. That's like our big thing that my daughter specifically looks the most forward to. So yeah, so that's what we do.
What was this current week's movie night?
We watched a movie called Lyle Crocodile.
Oh my, this is
so
hilarious.
cute.
Listen, my boyfriend loves that movie, and he was like, we've watched it like 20 something times. I'm like, are you watching it because you love it or your son loves it? He says it's a great movie. I'm gonna have to check it out.
It is. It's super cute. It's on Netflix. They just came out, or it just came out on Netflix a couple weeks ago. So
That's really cool. So do Blakely and Avery get along? Are they best friends?
it depends on the time of day. So in the mornings, they are usually the best of friends. And as the day progresses, normal sibling rivalry is what the rest of my day pans out to be. But they love each other every single morning.
Like, well, that's really cute. So by movie night, they're like sitting on opposite sides of the couch.
Absolutely fighting over who gets to sit by mommy and daddy, who get to do anything, who gets to hold the remote. That's the biggest argument that we have.
Do they alternate weeks of picking who gets to pick the movie?
So something about Blakely, my daughter, is that she is very headstrong, and we usually just let her pick the movie.
Where does she get that?
I don't know. No, but Avery is way more laid back, and he usually doesn't care what movie we watch. So Blakely is the one who gets to choose every week.
Well, that's fun. Well, you mentioned your vacation. So what is one of the best vacations that you can remember taking?
Wow. Okay. So I think probably when we went on a trip, it was one of the cruises that we took, which I'm not a huge cruise person. So I'm surprised I'm even saying this, but when we went it was a 7-day cruise. We had a ton of stops on it. We went to Turks and Caicos, a couple different places in the Bahamas, and that was the most memorable trip for me. So,
and where are you cruising with the whole family when you go this year?
So it's just the 4 of us. It'll be our first vacation as a family of 4. My parents considered tagging along, but I don't think they're going to. So
wow, where are you going? What's the destination?
So we go to 2 different places in the Bahamas. So one of them is Royal Caribbean's like private island, and then I think it's Nassau that we're going to. So we leave the day after Christmas. So I'm excited.
Nice. That'll be really fun. Well, I can't wait to hear how that goes. And I bet the kids being on a big cruise ship like that will be absolutely enamored.
I know they're going to love it. I have anxiety about it, but it's going to be fine.
It'll be so fun. Well, let's go back to get to know you a little bit more. We might come back to the family as well, but what's one of the favorite books that you've read in your life?
Okay, so I have read so many books. Most recently I read a book called Book Lovers, which was really good.
Yeah.
A book called Beach Read. I just like fun, romantic stories like that. Those are my favorite books to read. So those are my favorite ones.
I always know that a lover of people is a lover of books and stories. So, and I shared this with you before we started the interview. I just love hearing like the recommendations. I think I've heard of The Beach. Is it called The Beach Read?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I feel like I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're just quick, easy reads, and they make you forget about everything else happening in the real world. Right. So I like books like that.
Well, aside from family movie night, do you have a favorite TV show or movie that you love?
Yeah. So I love crime shows. NCIS is like my all-time favorite show, the original one, not the spin-offs.
Right.
So yeah, so that's my favorite show. That's the one that we watch every single week and have rewatched all 20 plus seasons a million times. So
Yeah. Fine. Well, what about sports? Do you follow sports, and who's your team?
So typically, other than the Bengals, I am like the person who's like, go sports. I don't really follow any other teams, but I do love the Bengals. So that's really the only team that I follow.
And I will go back to the family a little bit because I love tying the family and sports together. So are your kids into any kind of sports or activities yet?
Yeah, my daughter, she loves gymnastics and tumbling. So that's what she's been super into. My son is really too little, but he wants to play football. He is a diehard football fan, even at almost 3 years old. So I'm looking forward to when he can start playing.
One of my favorite things in the entire world is seeing like the football players in college or professional having pictures when they are little, 3 and 4 and 5-year-old kids rooting for the game or wearing all the gear. It's so cute to do that. I think you know what you love before you know what it is, even.
Yeah.
So whatever you're drawn to. Well, does your family have any pets?
We do, yeah. We have a Siberian Husky. His name is Diesel. We have had him for, I guess he'll be 11 this year.
Wow.
So I know he's getting up there, but he is, I joke and say that he's like a grumpy old man now, but he was the sweetest puppy. And yeah, so that's our dog.
I don't feel like I knew that. I don't know that I have not seen pictures. Maybe I don't know, but I didn't know that. That is what I'm learning about you today, Amanda. Well, what about a favorite food or restaurant?
So I love Italian food. I love going to Jeff Ruby's, going to the Precinct. I would say the Precinct is one of my favorite restaurants. And then one that I have not been to yet that I'm really looking forward to trying is Pep and Dolores. So we're going to be going there in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that.
I have been. It is exceptional. Very, very good. We went when it first opened, maybe a year and a half or so ago. And oh my goodness, I keep meaning to be like putting that on the rotation. Well, good. So what, if you're a singer and a music writer, I know you're a lover of music. What is one of the best concerts that you've ever attended?
So the one that sticks out the most to me is when we went to the Grand Ole Opry's 85th birthday.
Wow.
Basically anyone in country music that you can think of was there. We got to see Dolly Parton, which was a bucket list item for me.
Yes.
So I would say that that's the best concert. There were, gosh, I want to say like 6 or 7 artists that we saw that night. So it was
just at the Ryman?
It was not at the Ryman. It was actually at the Grand Ole Opry. But it was Dolly Parton, Taylor
Swift. I was going to say, I don't know if you could like fit.
You can't, you
a
could never
fraction of the people in that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have been to shows at the Ryman before and I loved those shows too. Cause it's just an intimate gathering. I feel like if you've been to the Opry or to the Ryman.
I've never been to the actual Opry, but I've been to the Ryman.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I think about it every time I go to Nashville. I'm like, we need to do that again. So
yes, cool. So is country music kind of your preferred genre? Is that what you're listening to on the radio if you're in your car?
Definitely, yes. I'm a huge Morgan Wallen fan. Lately I've been listening to Kelsey Ballerini's new music that she just came out with. It's amazing.
I don't know if you saw, she is hosting Saturday Night Live coming up. I just saw it. It might be this weekend, but I just saw it on social media. And Travis Kelsey is the host and she's the music person. And I'm like, didn't she just go through a divorce and isn't he single? And is this going to be a thing?
I guess we'll have to watch and see. I did not know that. So thanks for telling me.
Yeah, I like her too. She's good. All right. Well, a couple more questions and I'll let you get to your weekend. If you could be any character from TV or movie or a book, who would you be and why?
Okay. So I'm going to take this back to me talking about NCIS, but there is a character that you see on the show. Her name is Ziva David, and I wish that I could be her in like another life. She's just so cool, and that's who I would be. I feel like I just love the investigations and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what she's amazing at, and she's the only girl in that season, and that's who I would choose.
Okay, so knowing you're a reader and knowing you like the crime stuff, I read a book in January called The Butcher and the Wren.
I've never heard of it.
It was on a book club list, and it phenomenal. And it's told from two points of view, but one of the view, the Wren, her name is Wren. She is a autopsy,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so she's the corner or something like that. And it's phenomenal and you would love it. And it was relatively quick. I think I listened to them, but I think it was just like a weekend or something. But if you like that kind of stuff and you love that perspective of the crime, the strong female lead, like you will like this book.
I'll have to check it out.
All right. Well, I know you shared a random fun fact about being a singer and music writer. Is there any other random fun facts that no one would know about you?
Not that no one would know. I feel like you would,
unless we're asking.
Something about me, which you already know this, I know, but I love dad jokes. I feel like that's just like one of my favorite things. So I love dad jokes.
Should I put you on the spot and say, tell us one? I feel like I did that when you told us that you love dad jokes and you're like, well, they're not always appropriate.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe.
I'll leave you off the hook about that. But there's a dad joke Instagram page that I follow and it's pretty funny. And oftentimes I'm like, dang, this is so inappropriate. I'm not sure I can share it with all the people I'd love to share it with. Well, two more things. I know you're very humble and would not necessarily take time to underscore your success and professional designations and things like that. But I know you've went through the programs, you've won numerous awards with Village Green. Is there anything that stands out to you in terms of your awards and designations and just your success in the industry?
Yeah. I feel like the most memorable or most proud moment for me is when I won top property manager. I feel like it came after just a really challenging year in my career, where the property that I was at was going through a sale. I was transitioning into a new role. And we somehow managed to pull it off seamlessly. I don't even know how. But that was the most special moment, I think, of the awards that I've won, is winning top property manager.
Well, there's not an award for necessarily dispositioning a property and helping our clients realize their investment strategy. But I do think that Tuesday, when we go to that State of the Industry event, Dave Lockard is going to have a slide that is showing current to the banks. And having been the manager there for 4 years, and Village Green has been there for the duration. We watched it come up out of the ground and did the lease up and managed it for all that time. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing and seeing all of the metrics, because I know you played a crucial part in the success of that property and the realization of our clients' investment strategy. So thank you for that. And I think that will be a big, proud moment for you, for sure. There just doesn't happen to be an award tied to it, right? There's no trophy to set out on your desk today about that. But I know you did a tremendous job there, and the value that your team created for our client was, I'm sure, one for the record books.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I will give all of that credit to my team, because they were amazing and they really held down the fort during that challenging time. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Dave has to say about it.
I know. Well, the very last question, and this is how we end all of our interviews. So my question to you is, how do you think the folks who have worked with you in your career would describe you as a leader?
I would think that they would say that I'm somebody who listens. I feel like, especially over the past couple of years, I've talked about this a lot, but somebody who listens to really understand what my team is going through, what my residents are going through, instead of just listening to respond. I hope that they would say that which I feel like I've heard them say this, but that I am a hard worker, and that, something that I really pride myself on is helping my teams grow and pushing them to advance to the next level, whatever that may be. If they want to stay in sales, if they want to be a property manager, if they want to go beyond that, I feel like the most important thing is pouring into our people. And I think that that's what they would say.
I couldn't agree more. All of that is 100% true. And I think we could go on and on and on. I'm very excited for you, Mandy. You're relatively new in your career, even though you've been in the business for so long. You started this next chapter. So it's almost like when you leave, when you leave high school, you're at the very top, and then you start college and you're, starting and working your way up again. And I look forward to watching you in this next chapter of your career. And I wish you the very best. And I'm so glad I'll be right alongside you to see it all in real time. Thank you again for taking time. Hope you have a great weekend with the family. Any fun family plans this weekend?
My husband, it was his birthday earlier this week, so we have a family dinner planned for tomorrow, but that's about it.
Well, that's fun. Well, tell Luke happy birthday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you soon, and hope everyone else has a great weekend, and we'll see you back next week for another edition of the Weekly Member Spotlight.